Hey there, idiots. Welcome back to Observe. Thank you for 500,000 subscribers, and today we're going to be talking about the tattoos that I have and answering some of your top most requested questions. Let's go. Okay, so I have been on the channel for a while, and one of the more recent questions that have been popping up more often is, can you show us your tattoos and talk about them? And so that is the purpose of today's video. I have a number of them here, so I'm also going to sprinkle in some question and answers in the middle of these. So first tattoo, I'll start with down here. This is a film canister. Everybody thinks it's a battery. It's not a battery. It's a film canister. I used to do a lot of videography and cinematography, and there's a strip of film going around. I have some mountains in the winter, some mountains in not the winter, and those are because I grew up in a very mountainous area in Montana. And then I've got a tea or coffee cup because I like tea and or coffee. And I have my wedding date and wedding arch. It's in Roman numerals because, I don't know, it was more interesting than plain numbers. And then I have a little square for YouTube right here as well because I've been doing YouTube since 2014. So this is one of my more recent ones, and I'm a pretty big fan of it. Now, for the questions, my wife is over here, and she will be asking the questions that I get the most from you, and I'll be answering those. So let's go ahead and go with top one.
What got you started in body language reading, and how do I become a body language expert?
Okay. All right, so this one is interesting. What got me started was a number of different things. I used to like psychology very early on, and that developed into appreciating body language through a number of literary sources and then also some TV stuff. And then I was just interested in it, so I took it from there. And now I am wrapping up my education in a master's degree through the Emotional Intelligence Academy, which, quick plug, that's sponsored here, or it's not sponsored, it's partnered with the channel. So if you sign up using my link, you can also get some discounts on that. And well, actually that leads right into the second half of the question, which is, yeah, the best thing to do is to start through an education source. And there aren't a ton of those. You can do personal education and collegiate, but then also finding a degree like that is nice as well. And I'm a little leery of the word expert because I know that there's that saying of you do it however many hours and you become an expert. I don't necessarily believe that to be true about body language because it's very complex and we're still learning more about psychology, let alone the physical representation of it. So that's my little answer to that one. On to the next tattoo here. It's one that I got spur of the moment as a walk-in in a tattoo shop in a dark and grungy alley in the town that I was living in at the time. It says, "Live the adventure and do more." These are from two of my more inspirational creators back in the day, was Casey Neistat and Fun for Louie. And they both had these sort of deals, and I liked the sayings and kind of what they stood for, so I got it as a tattoo. But the person who did it did not do super hot and squooshed the words do and more so close together that it looks like one single word, do more. So, I mean, he had one job, but I guess that's cool. On to the next question.
Can you turn it on and off, and what is it like living with it?
Ooh, okay, so this one is interesting. Yes, you can, I guess to an extent, turn it on and off. It feels as if a lot of people have the idea that this is a superpower of some sort, or once you learn to look for this stuff, then you'll never see the world differently. And to an extent, never seeing the world differently is semi-true. You're more aware of things, but you can still actively ignore that part of you. Say you're just having a conversation with a friend or a loved one and you just want to have a conversation. You don't have to actively engage the analysis side of things. So living with it isn't too much different, besides that you might be able to have a little bit of a head start on being emotionally present in situations because of it. So I hope that answers that question fairly well. We'll move on to, I'll talk about this one last. This is the next tattoo that I got here. And so it's a combination. This took the tattoo world by storm. Not this tattoo, but I'm saying the design of the trees and stuff. a little bit ago, and I had gotten just on the front end of that, and so now everybody has one, but oh well. So it's the kind of pine trees, any sort of evergreen to represent where I'm coming from here in the Montana area. And then we've got Van Gogh's Starry Night in the background as well, because I appreciate art and I really like his story and his painting style. I surprised my tattoo artist the day of with this idea. He was planning on doing something very different. We had talked about like clouds and maybe some birds, and then that day I was like, here, how about this instead? So he freehanded this, made like a couple marks on my arm with a marker, and then freehanded the rest. And I was really impressed, and he said afterwards that he was never going to do one ever again. And I was like, oh, cool, well, I'm glad I got the only one. So, all right, on to the next question.
What books do you recommend for a beginner in the field?
Oh yeah, this one this one comes in a lot here. As far as books go, for starting off, I do suggest What Everybody Is Saying by Joe Navarro. It is on that shelf back there. It's a really good starting point in the body language side of things. It allows you to be able to start opening your eyes to some of the various patterns that are out there. And then anything by Dr. Paul Ekman is going to go really, really well for nonverbal communication of the face. So micro expressions, mini expressions, so on and so forth in that realm. Anything by him, I suggest Emotions Revealed and Telling Lies top, because they cover a lot of really good information. And then there are a number of other books. If you look up something, it's called The Dictionary of Body Language by Alan and Barbara Pease, the definitive book of body language. Sorry. Joe, I'm sorry. Definitive Book of Body Language by Alan and Barbara Pease is good, and then there's the Dictionary of Body Language by Joe Navarro again. Those are all ones that I definitely suggest you start checking out. All right, so then on to the next tattoo here. I'll start way back here. This is a Skyrim tattoo because I really liked the game Skyrim. I didn't get to start playing video games until I was around 18 to 19 years old, and Skyrim was one of the first big video games that I played, so it holds a very special place in my heart. So Skyrim tattoo back here. This one's very new, within the last month? Yeah, within the last month or so. So I don't know that needs to give any more backstory to that. All right, next question.
Why do you call us idiots, and do you know what that means?
Okay, yes. So I'd say that at the beginning of every video, and that started a couple years ago when I was a much smaller channel and I was able to keep track of all of the comments very, very well. So hate comments were much less common, and that came in, and I thought it was just funny because it was on like a book review or something like that that doesn't really have a lot of opinion base. It was just talking about what the book was saying. And a person just commented, "You are a idiot. This guy, Logan, is an idiot." And I thought it was funny. I know that in various dialects it is not a sweet thing to say, and I know it's supposed to be an insult towards me. So I took that and I was like, instead of being offended by this and hurt by this, I'm going to take it and maybe make it something that I can use and have a new meaning and have a little bit of evolution in the language there, at least for my personal opinion on it. So instead of being offended by it, tried to turn it to something that I appreciated, ergo the name idiots. And also I looked it up on Urban Dictionary, and at the time it said an antidote for idiocy, and I thought that was funny and it fit my preconceived, joke of an idea that I had, so I just kind of ran with it. So that's where that came from. I understand it's an insult. I do not mean it as an insult, and there's that reason behind it of trying to take negatives and take them on and find a way to work with them that I have behind it. Hope that makes sense. All right, talking about the last tattoo here, which is still in process. So hopefully by the time that this goes live, I might have footage of this being finished. And if so, we'll go ahead and enter it in here as I'm showing it here and now, and if not, then here we go. But so this has 7 different theater masks. I used to do acting, stage acting, and also some camera acting. I appreciated it a lot. It was a lot of fun, made some really good friendships during that. And so the theater masks are for that. And then on each mask, I have one of the 7 different universal emotions to reflect, observe, and then he threw in some wispy smoke around it to be able to kind of add some depth to it. But I wanted to get something that could represent observe quite well, because I've really appreciated that. And then the theater mask just really tied in rather nicely with that. So that's the newest, most recent one, and this one is very fresh. It's fresher than this one, so only a couple weeks old for that. And I go out soon to get the rest of that. All right, I think we have one more question.
Yes.
All right.
Are you going to do a video on / more of?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is a general question that I get about a whole number of things. So to answer just here for answering's sake, I am going to try to get around to as many video requests as I can. I run it through a voting system, so if people vote heavily for it, then that one will get done next. It just ensures that you're consuming content that you're interested in. Regardless, for my side, I enjoy doing nonverbal analysis, and I like to have that variety. So on that side of things, if you have a suggestion that a lot of other people have, the chances are I'll get around to it. If it's a little bit more minute or obscure, then I might be able to get around to it when it's maybe a quieter month or something along those lines. So I hope that makes sense. Just makes it to where I don't have to sweat trying to figure out what to do next nearly as much. And then in regards to the question of, are you going to do more true crime, or are you going to do more of reality TV or drama or what have you? Yes, I will do more of all of them. I try to keep it, like I said, rotating through, not only for fresh content, but also to give myself a mental break from each category, because each one can get exhausting in its own right. So having that switch around and that variety is quite nice. So those are my top 5 questions. Those are my tattoos. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry if I lost so much credibility in your eyes because I have tattoos, because I know that deep down inside, having tattoos is the determining factor of an IQ. So I'm sure that mine is just extremely low now. So I'm sorry about that. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have tattoos, you can leave me a comment in the comment section below. Eventually, I think I'm gonna work something about tattoos into one of the milestones. Not sure how, but anyways, if you have some tattoos that you're pretty proud of, try to describe them in the comments below. If you do have any other questions, I can try to get around to the comments, no promises, but I'll try. And then, the subscribe and all those other things as well. But without further ado, that's all that I've got for this day. Thank you so much for the 500,000 subscribers, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.